Women in Tech. Building teams, breaking barriers, and boosting growth.
Thank you. Thank you, everyone, and welcome to this, I think, second last panel of the day. And it's an absolute delight for me to be with you here today, profiling some of the leading women in tech to share their experiences and their ideas about how we can really drive and increase the number of women in tech. This is an outstanding panel. They've all got a great personal story. They're all empowered, self-actualized women who are in tech. They're women who lead. And one of the key things that we need to think about in bringing more women into technology is being prepared to lead, being prepared to stand out there, being prepared to inspire other women, being prepared to help other women. So I'm really delighted to introduce this panel to you, to share with you some of their experiences, how they overcame them, and how they've now become women leaders in their field. So thank you very much, everyone. And I would like to ask the panel to introduce themselves and talk about what they do. So thank you very much.
Hello. Hi, everyone. Hi, everyone. My name is Eva Berkova, and I'm a CEO in a software development company. I'm really glad to be here with the other beautiful ladies who would probably share some insights on the particular field that we're going to be talking about.
Thank you. Rosi.
Hi, my name, is it working? My name is Rosi Bremec. I'm COO of an affiliate marketing company. I'm really excited to be here. We have some amazing women in our company, and I'm really proud to represent them today.
Thank you.
Hello, my name is Alexandra Voronetskaya. I'm Chief Marketing Officer at our company, and I'm also very glad to be here with these amazing women. I think that we will share some insights that will inspire all of you ladies and gentlemen here, because I believe that we're working in a very competitive yet challenging and amazing sphere, and we all are women. That's why we know what we do. We are risk-free, we are uplifted, we are insightful, so I believe that everything will be great after this panel. Thank you.
Yeah, no, thanks very much. And if you think about it, and I always say this to young women that I'm speaking to, is you almost can't find a better career than technology because it's so flexible. It's something that you can do any hour of the day, working from home, and now in almost any geography. And with the kind of mobile network coverage we now have in the world, we can engage, if you think about UAE in the middle of the world, surrounded by countries like India and Pakistan and the Stans and so forth, we can engage people from those countries too, using internet, mobile technology, getting them the skills to be able to work in technology. So it really is a time like no other time for women to be involved in tech. So let's just start by talking to Eva about her experience in building teams with women in them and any of the challenges and personal stories that she's got about doing that.
Right. Well, addressing this question, it is essential to say that, of course, the first step is an active seeking of diverse positions. It starts from HR because it cultivates the culture within the company, the HR brand within, and portraying the brand outside, of course, outside the company. So it starts from, in my opinion, it starts from the recruiting the particular talents within the diversity group. It doesn't have to be just women, of course. It should be like all-around inclusive. Then one of the main challenges for that I've been experiencing, also myself, of course, is the bug within the ladder, career ladder. If the company is not actively looking to promoting women in leadership roles, it is much more difficult to address this issue and to overcome the prolonged barrier towards that ladder. And one of the things that I've been looking just recently, that the mentorship programs within the company is absolutely essential. While I would also say the cooperation with companies like STEM in STEM field would also be beneficial for both companies and for both HR brand, the companies, and actual women in tech.
No, so thank you. And I think a couple of points there. One is you want excellent performance out of your employees. And so you need to create an environment that's flexible and responsive to the needs they have so they can perform at an excellent level. And I think the second point that you made is giving people mentoring opportunities. And I would also say, for us on the panel and any other senior women in the audience, we need to give of our experience and share with others so that they can also grow and learn from our experience. So with that, maybe I'd like to move to Alexandra and ask her to talk to us about her experience with facing some of those challenges, dealing with some of those barriers to now become a leader of women in tech. So Alexandra.
Yeah, thank you so much. Actually, breaking barriers for women in tech is not just, like simple words. It's a process. It's a very long and complicated one. But I believe that now we have true leaders here at the stage who are ready to do it and to share their experiences. So actually, what I can say with my experience through all these multiple male-dominated industries, because I was working in cars, premium spirits, real estate, and now IT. So actually, there are a couple of things we can do, we can organize. First of all, women should be visible. They should be seen as managers, as leaders, as mentors. They should share their experience. That's why I believe we are here. We are sharing what we have actually overcome. We are sharing some case studies, good practices, and so on and so forth. Then, of course, I agree totally with you. It's about mentoring. It's about organizing together with the HR department the mentoring program for women. What concerns me personally, I have a couple of women whom I help actually to overcome some complications in their career ladder, and I help them to negotiate some issues regarding their salaries and career growth. Then, of course, it's about leadership development. During all my professional experience, I was working in companies whom I led to different markets regarding the entering markets, for example. And of course, it was everything connected with the leadership program development, mentorship, and so on and so forth. And when this is not only about, like creating some program, but about realization of this program and full support on every stage of it, this is really working. This is what is necessary. And last but not least, it's about networking. Actually, this is very important because on networking events and our networking cycles, we can share peer-to-peer our experience. We can discuss some successful stories, because it's also something that should be mentioned, not hidden. And of course, we can share our knowledge. We can share our best practices. I believe all of us have cases when, I don't know, they were given the answer that you are not applicable to this job. You are not, like strong enough. You are too emotional. But for me, it's not, like a negative feedback. It's a push. It's a driver just to change something, to change the perspective, to find any other solution, maybe to find another company. And that's why I know that mentoring, support, constant support, and creating the right environment for women leaders to grow is very important. And I'm glad that my company has it. That's why, yeah, breaking barriers, it's about building connections, it's about mentorship, leadership, and being visible.
No, thank you. And I think it's important to recognise that there's a cultural dimension to this too, because if you say like a Western US type of culture, everyone's expected to talk about everything in public freely. But in certain cultures, there are ways for women to exert their power. There are ways for women to interact and network, and it's not necessarily on public stage in public forum.
Yeah.
And so we have to understand and respect that. And in different regions of the world where we work, we have to understand what's appropriate and what's going to be able to work culturally to enable women to be able to engage and be involved in tech. And I was sharing a story earlier. I was talking to a woman in Bangladesh who trains female software developers and people to work in tech, and she takes young women who are from the villages and they have mobile phones and internet connection. She's trained 25,000 and she trains them in specific jobs that are demanded in the marketplace. So she trains them for with those skills, and then she connects them with work, and they can work from home. And so we don't have to be out at Sigma in public on stage to be working in tech. We just have to think about how we give women those opportunities to be able to get the skills and be able to work in tech. But I'd now like to ask Rosi, because I think Rosi's got a wealth of experience and a career that's brought her to incredible success all around the world. And she's got some perspectives about enabling people to be successful in work, whatever gender or identity they may have. So, Rosi, I'd like to give you an opportunity to just say, how do we get the best? How do we create an environment where women can flourish in tech?
Thank you. I have a different experience and a different perspective, as you said. I really believe that as we should leave gender at the door and not bring it in and wave a flag that, you know, you're a woman and you have to be treated differently or you have to work harder. And I think we also have to balance out that there are also, you know, it'd be nice to have men on these panels as well, because it's, you know, it comes from both sides, whereas, for example, I am the only female member of my C-suite, but I know that just as I don't bring the fact that I'm a woman to the table and kind of use that, my team also doesn't see me any different. And I really believe that the way we can empower women is to role model of a way of, it doesn't matter. You can be whoever you can be. If you know, as leaders in companies now, you know, I am able to influence the fact that people can bring their full selves to work. They have psychological safety to be able to put their hands up and say, look, I'm overwhelmed, or I have something going on at home, or whatever. I think as women we tend to wave that flag a little bit too much, and I try to role model that it really doesn't matter. And wherever I've been, I've worked in MENA as well. Worked in a very forward-driven and very cutthroat environment here as well, and there were male and female egos flying around. I saw both genders just as ambitious as the other, and both of them succeeded just as the other. So my perspective is that you go in, you work hard, you bring your full self, you don't use whatever it is to make yourself any different. You just bring your skills, your merits, your competency. In our company, we've given 40 promotions this year. 19 of them were women. I can honestly say that at any point throughout this year, the last year, did I say, we gave 10 promotions to men. Let's look for a woman that, you know, we could tick a box. I can guarantee that every one of our women has received that promotion because she deserves it, and just as the men have. So, what I'm trying to say, and to summarize, I really don't look at my team that way. We don't, even as a leadership team, we don't even consider that. We give everybody the same equal opportunities, the same, we look at everybody the same, and we base our decisions on merit and on performance.
Look, I think that's a really important point. We need to focus on merit and performance, but we need to be able to create the environment that women feel like tech is a field that they're interested in getting involved in. And we need to create those pathways to make it easy for them to be part of it. And a lot of it's up to us. And I just want to share a brief story in my own experience. I took up a new job a number of years ago as Director of Women's Health in Australia, where I lived, and I was due to have my baby and wanted to go back to work after 2 weeks. And I went back to work after 2 weeks. I bought my baby, I bought a nanny, and I fed my baby at work, and people were aghast at this, but I did it, and I did a good job. And then everyone would stop me in the lift wells, the young women, they'd go, "Thank you so much." And I'm going, for what? Because I didn't think what I was doing was special, but what I didn't realise was that the culture of that organisation was not inclusive of motherhood, was not giving women the opportunity to be able to be mothers and to go to work, and that by modelling that behaviour, I'd actually opened the doors for change in that organisation. So I think some of it is just getting out there and modelling the behaviour that you believe in. So let me ask the panel to talk to you about what are some of their key takeaways? What is it that you need to think about if you'd like to have more women in your organisations? If you want to build a world where your daughters and your granddaughters can have a great future in tech just like you have, what do you need to be thinking about? So maybe let's start with you.
Thank you. Well, ladies, you've been speaking about role modeling, which I fully agree, and I agree with your concept that we should not differentiate being a man or a woman and act upon it. In the same time, one small tiny thingy, for example, the showing the culture of the company with even the photos of LinkedIn. We just had a big corporate party here in Dubai, by the way, showing the photos of how the company is structured and portraying that within the possible either social media or marketing, not over pushing, of course. I'm totally against for that, but showing the results where I mean, I started and I was either 15s or 20s in my company. I think I was the second woman back in time, but right now we are about more than 200 and we're almost half and half. And again, it's like Rosi said, it's not about counting, okay, we've got a man over here, that we need a woman in this position. No, it's about absolutely linear approach towards that and showing the market that what we have, which positions are occupied by women. And I'm glad to say that right now more and more tech-related roles are being filled with women in our company. That's probably it.
Thank you. Alexandra, we're running short on time, so let's be brief with your closing statements.
Okay. First of all, I want to say that we should be bias-free. Really, I completely agree with Rosi. It should be, we should go for credits. In case you are ready, you will have this position. That's why it's great to use some AI instruments. They are bias-free, and they help us on the first stages of recruitment, for example, or when we are organizing the performance review. It's great to use AI instruments because they are bias-free. And just to close up, in case you are a decision maker in a company and you're a woman and you have the opportunity to set up any mentorship or leadership development program, just do it. Because this is what is really necessary. We can share our experience, we can educate, we can be brand ambassadors, and this is really great.
Thank you. Rosi?
And to answer your question, how to attract more women in tech into your business, I think make sure that you advocate that there is no bias, as my colleague said here. Focus on performance and merit, and also make sure that the company has a really good work-life balance, that they focus on, like we do, we focus a lot on well-being. We've introduced 3 months of 4-day work weeks this past year. We also champion, at sometimes in points of women or even men's lives, that they want to focus on the family, and they don't necessarily want to take on more responsibilities and keep on perfecting their craft as they are. That's okay. If they're at a stage in their life where they don't want to take on more and they want to just focus on what they're doing and doing it well, that's great. And I think we should be okay with that, and also champion that. And when they're ready and they do want to expand and take on more, maybe the children have grown, or they've got help or whatever, then they have the opportunity to grow. So yeah, I think the balance between performance, work-life balance, and well-being is key.
Thank you. And ladies and gentlemen, I'd like to ask you to put your hands together to thank this panel for their insights. And thank you very much to the wonderful women leaders on the panel. Thank you.